I boy, yeah, I literally feel the same way, Nathan. I'm a little bit younger, so I'm 43 now, and so I saw this on VHS for the first time. But it was my father that introduced the film to me, and I was obsessed with it as a 5-year old kid. And what Ellie was saying is that even when I was so little, and there was obviously like a lot of nuances and story beats that as a little kid I couldn't pick up on, Spielberg is such a good visual storyteller that I could follow the action and I could follow what was going on. And as a little kid, this was the movie where the guy with the hat fought the bad guys and he went after the big chest,
Yeah.
and I just the brilliance of Steven Spielberg is that his visual storytelling language is made for people ages 8 through 80, and you can just literally,
And
you
even if
know,
you don't, and even if you don't speak English or understand English well, you can
Yes.
still follow the story, which is really cool.
Yes.
Because funny thing, Nathan, that you say that I went to see this movie back then with my dad. I mean, we both didn't really speak English really well, but it was my dad and I because they wouldn't let me go to movies by myself. Because I was younger, so they
Hmm.
were like, you're not going to the movies alone. So my dad would have to come to see movies. If I wanted to see a movie, you had to come and sit with me, because I'd be like, my mom was taking care of my little brother. So I was just like, so it was really fun. It's really awesome to hear both of you that your experiences are also with your dads, because I thought I was the only one, but it's cool to see that it wasn't just me.
No,
Sorry,
no,
Sam.
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, he literally like introduced me to Indiana Jones, and he encouraged my enjoyment of it. And a really funny story. I was in kindergarten watching this movie, and I was obsessed with the special effects of the finale when the Ark of the Covenant opens up and destroys and kills all the Nazis. And so I was drawing this in class, and my teacher held a parent teacher conference with my father and mother and said, we think your son is really disturbed and we're really concerned about him. And they showed what I've been drawing, and it was all these like, face melting eyeballs popping out. And my dad burst out laughing and said, "No, no, 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 no! He really loves the movie. He's just reenacting the scene because he was enamored with it." I will say, I mean, for me, the nostalgia is a given. It's so ingrained with my childhood and acting out those scenes. And because Indiana Jones is such an earthy movie, it was such a perfect playing Indiana
Mm.
Jones outside, in the dirt and in your backyard and the road, and it's just like it was just great. But if I say talking about looking at it now, analyzing it, what I love about Steven Spielberg's direction in this movie is Spielberg himself has said this is one of the few movies that he can watch with his kids where he can enjoy the movie for the movie's sake by itself, meaning he's
That's
not watching it
incredible.
going, "Oh, I wish I'd used that lens," he can just separate himself and enjoy it. I think Raiders has such economical, focused storytelling,
Mhm.
and I think that Spielberg is so good with visual geography and almost having a very three-dimensional sense to his use of space. And so I love in his films that this is the thing, like at the Tanis dig site in Tunisia where they shot, if you look in the background of the shot, there are just extras upon extras,
Mm.
like 1,000 feet from the camera. And in a modern film, they'd shoot the foreground and they'd,
Yeah.
they'd CGI
They'd
the background.
CGI the man.
And Spielberg's effort where he puts that, and he does that in all of his films, even today, in a different way. But I have to comment, I think the truck chase is one of my favorite action sequences of all time. The editing is so perfect. The timing is perfect. John Williams' storytelling of the music on the truck chase. The truck chase is
Mhm.
like 8.5 minutes, and it literally has chapters of the
Yes.
chase, and
Mhm.
John Williams guides you through it. It's just like incredible. It's so awesome, and I just lastly I'll say that what I like about it, the tonality is, it has, adventure serial and James Bond, but what Indiana Jones has always had is I like the underlying mysticism of whatever the MacGuffin is, whether it's the Ark of the Covenant, and we won't talk about the later films yet, but there is an underlying like almost supernatural spiritual,
Yes.
it has nothing to do with dogmatic religion or anything like that. It's more about the arc in the story is this mystical,
Force.
do not mess with the powers, of the unknown above mere mortals. And I like that the movie takes that seriously. And when he goes to the map room and he puts the staff of Ra in and John Williams music and the thing, like I
Oh,
can't,
so good.
I can't,
Yeah.
I can't deal with it. I don't want to, I don't want to cry because I'll start to cry. So I'll just say,
I know. Seriously,
yeah,
I well
Yeah.
up during that. The
Yeah.
score and the look on Indy's face, the smile that and like that scene just glows. And
It-
I really
it's just amazing. And I mean, for me, it's just a flat out 5 stars. And I also think the circumstances of Spielberg wanting to come in under budget, he said that he did not indulge himself, meaning he, to save the budget, they cut out, they didn't use some techno crane shots, and he kind of kept himself in this. And so the storytelling is so lean and mean, and just
yes.
this movie is just so pitch perfect that
Mhm.
you just get to the end of it and it's like you just sit there and slow clap in silence because it's like, well, that was perfect, 5 stars. I mean, I don't even know what else to say,